Hey everyone, welcome to the Rooted Home podcast. My name is Jeremy Mefford, and this is my wife, Lauren. A lot of you guys are probably far more familiar with my wife from her work on YouTube, and this podcast endeavor is hopefully going to expand on that and add depth to what Lauren has already been doing. There's a lot of reasons that we felt like this would be a good direction to head with what Lauren has already started that we think would be a blessing to a lot of her audience. So that's why we're starting this up. Lauren, do you have anything to add to that?
Yes, I do. Thank you, babe.
You're welcome.
Yes. So any of you who are familiar with my channel know that I like to get straight to the point. Because we've got a lot of busy moms who just want some information, but I've also heard from a lot of you that you would like some more of a conversational pace and that you would really enjoy my amazing husband.
I think they would.
I think that they will. They're gonna love you, babe.
Oh, thanks.
Because I do. But anyway, so all that to say, I get straight to the point in the YouTube videos, but there's just an element of who we are that you can't really see it with the bam, bam, bam.
Yeah.
So we wanted an opportunity to be able to go a little deeper or to take it a little deeper by just being more conversational, letting you see who we are so that you know who you're learning from, because I think that really is important.
I think
go ahead.
I think that's a really good point because with what you produce, it's very much a good, helpful, but also very scripted and packaged product that's very helpful to a lot of moms, but they don't get to see this is who Lauren is. This is the home that Lauren actually does these things in and has learned these things in. This is the marriage and family that these things serve.
These are the quirks.
These are the quirks. These are the imperfections. These are the things that make it a mixed bag because it's not all polished like most of social media is. It's real life. And when you see someone all nice and polished talking about things, it can look way better, than what it is. And you can feel discouraged when you're trying to implement it yourself and it's not going exactly the way that you think it should. This has been very much a year-on-year stumbling and growing thing that Lauren is teaching you from. And that's true of both husbands and wives, but Lauren's the one with the YouTube channel. So in talking about what she's doing, it's good to see the reality, to see the real home behind it a little bit and hear a little bit from it. So, and
we've been really blessed by listening to other couples talk. So I take it, or I kind of think of it as the wonderful talking head videos that I do that are to the point that people are encouraged by is like me handing you something at the door. But this is kind of like us inviting you into our living room to have a conversation. And I just feel like that we've been encouraged by that. So
for sure, either in real life or online, both apply. So it gives a lot of depth and reality to what you've been teaching. We've talked about also how there are some topics that may be helpful and related to what you talk about in your videos that might be easier to talk about or expound upon in a more conversational setting. And so we hope that helps with perhaps particular topics, or you may be someone who learns better from hearing things conversed about and pulled apart, seeing people talk about them as opposed to reading in a book or hearing it from a talking head, like you were saying, babe. So it's a different format that some people may be more inclined to learn from or to be helped by. There are also, I think, particular topics that lend themselves to being seen and observed, possibly more than read about or talked about. And so where that happens to be the case, we're hoping that this podcast provides additional blessing.
Maybe some context
to some of the talking head stuff. Yeah, I'd say that's fair. But also just teaching things in a different manner, painting a picture more than lecturing, so to speak. So that's kind of the idea as well. There's a lot of different reasons behind the podcast that we thought would be a good idea. So we're kind of musing on a lot of them right now, but there's quite a few that we could go into.
I mean, honestly, with a lot of the things I teach, with some of the things I teach, you've been a part of. So like it's come from our conversations. It's come from our life experience together. And some of the things that people have been really encouraged by have been like your words. So
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah. So anyway.
Obviously, I hope that continues as we start to have more of these conversations, that comes out and we are able to show them our life a little bit, talk a little more conversationally about things, open God's word and show kind of the foundations of this is where this was coming from for me. This is my heart behind this because of what God's word teaches us about marriage, family, parenting, any topic that we kind of get into, kind of should pull back the foundations of it, because showing you the principles doesn't quite go deep enough. The principles come from God's word, and that's the depth of the foundation we want to lay as we talk about it. So
not just share what we think.
Not just share what we think, because we want to share why we think it.
Yeah.
Because we're not God. We're not making this stuff up and calling it good.
I mean, yeah, and we definitely don't have it all figured out. So
no, we're not even
close
40 yet. We have a whole lot of learning left to do.
Yeah, I mean, that's honestly why we were really hesitant to do a podcast, because we haven't arrived, but then we've had more conversations and we've thought we're never going to arrive. And if we try to wait until we arrive, then
we'll never
do
arrives.
anything. No.
Yeah.
And if you think you arrived, then you really shouldn't be talking anyway.
That's right.
So
there's some humility that should go into if you're going to share things.
Yeah.
I think of the Paul and Timothy, analogy.
That's what I was thinking.
Old enough to be a Paul to someone, but young enough to be a Timothy to someone else. And I certainly learned from, when I was in my 20s, I learned from people who weren't 40 yet. I learned quite a lot. So there's nothing wrong with putting stuff out there. And if you don't find this helpful, then
you don't have to be.
You can move right along.
But hopefully,
no offense.
Yeah, but hopefully it's a blessing. So, babe, tell our listeners a little bit about where we come from, like some of our experiences, how we got thrown into things.
Sure.
I just want to hear from your perspective.
So we got married a little bit later in life. We were both 30 when we got married, and we proceeded to have a very intense, well, it's still intense. We haven't ended yet.
We're still going.
The first 8 years have been very intense and very condensed, which we're very happy about.
Yeah.
Having started family life a little bit later, it feels like we've been blessed to kind of be in catch-up mode as a way, because we were both very pro big family, and that can take time. We had our first child after a little under a year and a half of marriage, or a little under a year and a half of marriage. Pregnant about 6 months in.
Yeah.
And that was followed when our firstborn was about a year and a half old by adopting 2 of our biological nieces, who are now our daughters. And so we went from, 0 to 3 kids in
15 months.
Yeah, well, no, he was 15 months old, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah. So from him being born to, we went to 0 to 3 kids that quickly. From being married, it was a little bit more time, but it was very quickly. And then we had our 4th child shortly thereafter. So we were up to 4.
So that was like right in the middle of your dad.
My dad passed away around that time. Yeah, he was young. He was only 60.
Yeah.
So that happened. And we had our 4th child, and we had back-to-back miscarriages, which was obviously very challenging and hard. So we have 3 babies that are with the Lord, and, it was obviously a time of challenging, kind of not knowing, just having to trust the Lord, because not knowing anything about what would happen next, if we were able to have successful pregnancy at all after that. But then we had a successful pregnancy, but it was a very, very
awful
pregnancy. You had a couple of different illnesses that came along during that pregnancy that made things very hard.
Yeah.
And very uncomfortable.
It's fine of you.
But so
weird stuff.
It's
not even like, I was telling one of the students the other day, like, just weird things happen.
Yep.
Just add it to the list and laugh about it and move on. But anyway.
So that brought us to 5. And then, kind of not knowing if we were, after that experience, because you carried some of those ailments forward to where we know that if you were to get pregnant again, it would be very, very challenging.
Yeah. And I could possibly lose my sight.
Yeah.
So
kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So from there, finding out that the mother of our 2 adopted children got pregnant again,
after we had been praying.
After we'd been praying about possibly adopting and moving down the adoption path.
Yeah.
Lauren had already been looking into options, the cost, what we would have to do, what it would look like to adopt.
It's absurd. It's criminal how expensive it is. Anyway.
It's very cost prohibitive in ways that are sad in keeping children from being in good homes. Without going into too many details, I would agree with that kind of big picture take on the state of things in trying to adopt. But we had the opportunity to adopt from the same mother again, who, this would be our biological nephew in this case. And so we, in the midst of already looking into adoption, suddenly there was an unexpected opportunity in the family to bring another child into our home. So now we are up to 6 and happily feeding this, 7-week-old baby at this point. So
yeah, it's very sweet.
That's where we're at. And
there's been a few sagas in between.
There's been other sagas outside of just our family that have happened during that time.
Lots of pressures within and without. So
you also wrapped up a PhD while we were still married.
Which, by the way, I will say, I actually had friends that did not know that I had a PhD. Some people made fun of me that you have a PhD.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Curveball.
Yeah. Anyway, so because I talk about it, and it's on my YouTube channel. And that was because one of our friends basically forced me to do it. So anyway.
He's a good dude, though.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's why that's there. Usually I do not go into that, but I think it's an important part of the story because it, like, going from the academic world and being in the medical field and missions and just big, like, everything was just big out there. You know, I had big aspirations. I mean, I wasn't married, so why not, go for the next thing? To go from that mindset to being centered on the home, it was a huge shift. It was a huge shift, and that the Lord, it took some time to move my heart, I think, fully in that direction. But once I did, it's wonderful. I'm so glad. And it was a big shift going from, like, out there to in the home and having to figure all that out. I was talking with somebody the other day about when you get put in a place of, like, I think a lot of moms get to a breaking point at some point. Like, okay, I can't just skirt by anymore. I have to figure out how to make this work, because otherwise the house is a disaster and it's chaotic. Yeah. And my brain's exploding all the time and I'm exploding. And anyway, so I feel like there comes a breaking point. My breaking point just happened. Or multiple. Yeah, that's true.
Real life,
There's layers.
There's layers,
like Shrek says.
Continual sanctification is happening,
But my breaking point came really quickly, really early, when suddenly we had 3 kids. And I think that's my breaking point of having to figure out systems and routines, where I have these little people in my home and they're making a big mess and I don't know how to take care of it all. I mean, I quickly was I was teaching them chores really young.
And I would add that some of that challenge is because of the 2 girls we adopted being older than our child, or our biological child. And so we hadn't had a child where we'd slowly, like, layered growth phases onto to then be able to pull from. It was like, bam, you have a 4-year-old. What do you do with it? Yeah. Or what do you do with her? So
what do you do with this situation?
Yeah. It's very challenging. And we'll probably talk about adoption more in depth in some other episodes. But just wanted to add that made things even more challenging on you.
Yeah. But in retrospect, it's a blessing, because it was like the juxtaposition was so stark. Sorry, I'm sick. Sounded like a man a little bit. But that we went from me just managing our little home kind of half-heartedly to having to figure it out really quickly. So I think in retrospect, it pushed me into having to figure things out, which in turn I felt it so strongly that in it was such a relief when some of these systems came into play. It helps me love being a mother, because you can't love what you don't know how to, like, if you don't know how to run your home, it's hard to love it, So that was just such a relief that I felt very passionate about wanting to teach other women how to do it, because it made such a huge difference in our home and in our family life. So anyway, it started out with a blog.
That's right. Well, you came by your passion for this topic very honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it started out with having a few women in our living room.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Remember, I was like, hey, who wants to come over and I'll teach you how to make a routine.
Yep.
And nobody wanted to know. But a few people did.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was fun. I find a lot of delight in it, because I just want women to experience the kind of freedom and joy that we have a lot of growing to do.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of growing to do, but
we all do.
Yeah. But
I would say everybody has, just like Paul talks about to the Corinthians, every part of this Christian body, all of you are gifted in different ways. And all of you have different ways of bringing blessing to the church. And so, yes, we have lots of areas we're going to continue to mature in, Lord willing, for the next 40, 50 years, if God gives us that kind of time on the earth. But you already have gifts, and everybody already has gifts to bring to the table to help other people with. And I think this is one that the Lord has built in you through trial and through like having to do it and having to go through the fire with
trial
it.
By fire.
To where you have a very unique mindset on it because of what you've walked through, and you're uniquely passionate for it because of that, which has led to you wanting to spawn out this YouTube ministry.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's actually a fun fact. Like I just said, it almost started out with a blog, and you were the one thinking about doing a YouTube channel.
Yeah, briefly.
And so he got all the equipment, and
some of it. We've upgraded significantly since then.
Yeah, we have that little plastic rinky-dink ring light that we had at first. Anyway, it started out that way. So I don't think I would have said we should do a YouTube, or had the idea had you not already had it, because I would have felt bad about asking, I think, about
oh, really?
buying those things. Yeah, personally, I don't know. You would have been fine with it, but
ultimately, yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to be persuaded of things sometimes and think through them.
Yeah.
I'm a slow decision maker.
He's very slow.
I think through things for a long time before pulling the trigger one way or the other.
It's been 80 years. Yeah, there's a Titanic meme
maybe we can try and flash it on screen for those of you who are watching. We'll see.
Well, that was actually, I gave that to him because it was a renovation project. It was taking a really long time because we were trying to do it all ourselves. Or you were trying to do it all yourself. Yeah. I helped some.
Depends on the first house, you helped a lot. Before you had kids to be watching. You kind of take care of all the kids so that I can be working on stuff if need be.
I feel like I should explain this meme. Maybe you should explain it because you're better at it than I am.
That would be a rabbit trail. You have to have seen the movie Titanic, and there's which I don't recommend people watch.
Yeah.
So I don't want to even talk about it, really.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Anyway, okay. So
that's our background.
That's our background.
And how Lauren arrived at this passion for this particular topic.
And I would say you being a slow thinker, though, has been a massive measure of grace in our marriage. It's protective because I'm so we call ourselves the kite and the string, or the boat and what do we say? The anchor?
Something like that.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for him, I would be a kite in the air and fly off into the sky forever. And if
eventually crash into a tree.
Yeah. And you would be a string on the ground.
Right. I would just sit there.
You would just sit there. So we're a good team, babe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's our dynamic. And so, yeah.
Yeah. And anyway. So what else are we going to talk about?
That's kind of our background. So just for you guys to know, like I said, there's some things there we'll probably touch on more in further episodes. We're happy to talk a lot about adoption, what that's like, and the actual challenges there. That adoption can be one of those things that people, can glamorize a little bit,
romanticize
a little bit, and it is a very glorious thing. We are adopted into God's family because of Christ, and so there's a picture of the fatherhood of God in that, but it's also a unique challenge in many ways. And unless you've actually adopted, you may not be fully aware of that if you're going into it. So that's hopefully a topic that we'll talk about in further episodes as well.
Yeah, I'll have to think through how to talk about that, but yes.
What are some other things you would be dreaming about talking about eventually that you think people would benefit from hearing us talk about? Just to give people a vision into the future. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Probably how faith is lived in. I think that we've transitioned a lot, or at least I have. I think you probably were not as bad off as I am. We had this Gnostic mindset of.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So faith is like how it is lived out in the home, like rhythms of the home, baking bread, playing with your kids, getting on the floor. Anyway, I think we'll have conversations about that probably. And you said adoption, family rhythms. And I love how our family has turned into kind of like a family team. And we have, like, that's grown in our minds over the years. So, building a strong family culture. What about you, babe? What's on your mind?
Yeah, I would say all those things. I'm curious over time as you continue to get feedback on YouTube comments or emails and stuff like that, what kinds of things people would like to hear more on that we can speak on. So we read your comments, or Lauren reads your comments and read your emails and stuff. So if there tends to be themes of things that people want to hear about, that's very helpful to us. It helps us know what would be a benefit to you to hear more about. So
yeah. And if you have a question that sometimes I send out in the newsletter just a prompt of, hey, we're taking questions for our podcast. We really would love to hear your questions. So, because we read them and we have them written down.
I think with your background, at some point talking about health and nutrition in the home would probably be good, because that's something that
that's been massive.
It's been massive for us, but your background has helped bless the home a lot. She was a nurse, then a nurse practitioner, then she got her PhD in nursing. So her background in health has been a huge blessing, and loving like functional medicine, things like that. So
Dr. Mom.
And if you're a mom, you can do way more than you think you can when it comes to your kids' health and well-being. Yeah. So if you can homeschool your kids, you can, Anyway, another topic for another time.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're planning on bi-weekly episodes. And
only got so much time when you got 6 kids under 10. So we're going to find the time.
Try to merge into this a little bit. And anyway, anything else, babe?
I think that's it. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys as to, like I said, what will be helpful, if this is a blessing, and we'll continue doing it for a while. And we look forward to having more conversations you guys get to listen in on. And as you want to email us or leave comments, that kind of brings you as part of the conversation. So we're looking forward to hearing that as well. And we appreciate your time and hope it's a blessing. Yeah.
And we're thankful for each and every one of you and your support. And just so glad you're here.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you guys.